Today is National Women's Day, and here at ITProTV, we wanted to celebrate women in tech. Women continue to break down barriers and shatter glass ceilings in the world of tech. We had the opportunity to speak with many women who told us their stories and shared advice for other women in the industry. I'm your host, Melissa Kratt, and before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more IT-related content. Let's take a look.
Your Techie helps moms and women gain the skills and confidence to get hired in tech. And yes, the name comes from something very specific. I didn't really intend to start the company. I started a Raleigh-based meetup in our local area to help moms understand about the opportunities available in tech. And they would come in with these ridiculous skills, capabilities, qualifications, experience, things like master's degrees in computer science, 25 years at IT. And then they'd try to convince me that they weren't really that techie. That's how they would say it, but I'm not really that techie. And being the bold personality that I am, I would stand up and shout across the table, "You are techie. Are you kidding me? I don't even have a master's degree in computer science." So I really saw this need to help women, especially moms, understand not only how to gain the skills, but then value their own skills that they already had and see themselves as
Yes, I'm Tamika Reed, founder of Women in Linux. I've been doing Linux administration now going on for 19 years. I actually got started with doing Linux, doing high performance computing at the University of Washington. And I now develop a nonprofit to get more women into tech from an infrastructure perspective. Oftentimes you'll hear like, hey, we need to code. So everyone goes to a boot camp and they go to a coding boot camp and they spend $14,000 to $80,000 depending on the boot camp. And then they get out and then they're looking for a job in web development. And then they've never ever heard of VMware. They've never ever heard of being a storage admin or being a firewall admin or anything of that nature, because it's just not something that's promoted. You can't go to college for it. You can go to a community college for it, or you can go to a 2-year college for it, or some kind of technical college, but not a full ride college. And so I try to show you how to get into tech from those perspectives.
Yeah, so the Lookout Foundation is our arm to give back. We do a pledge 1%, which is what a lot of Silicon Valley tech companies started doing, where we give back 1% of our revenue, 1% of employee time, and 1% of our product back to different charities and organizations. The foundation specifically has 3 thematic goals or focuses: women in STEM, internet freedom and data privacy, and supporting underrepresented communities. And various things we've done out of that include Day of Security, which is where we have a women's only conference. We actually just did our first virtual event in March, and we had over 1,100 attendees in a virtual event. So It was actually pretty cool.
Women in cybersecurity, we often go by our acronym WICIS, which is WICYS, and we pronounce it WICIS, like we sisters, because that's exactly what we are. We are a cyber sisterhood. And our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. And we do so by creating opportunities. So we have over 5,300 members with representation in over 70 countries. We have 43 professional affiliates, which are little mini WICIS organizations, and they're all throughout Africa, Australia, Canada, France, India, Pakistan, the UK, and throughout the United States. And we have 150 student chapters. So we offer training programs, initiatives, a mentor-mentee program where we design the curriculum. Everything is here to bridge that gap for women to continue their pathway and their passion in cybersecurity, and do so with the support and the advancement opportunities.
Now let's hear from a few women who spoke about some of the challenges that they've either seen or faced in the workplace while in IT.
So the unique challenges, I think, too, that moms face is that they're often looking at their skills as a mother and in the forefront, and their skills in the workforce in the background. And so that's kind of a point where I help them bridge that gap and understand which skills really are applicable in the workforce, whether they've been out of the workforce or completely as stay-at-home moms, or in another industry and wanting to transition. For example, I have a lot of teachers come and they want to transition into tech. So that's kind of the problem I solve. So anyone who's looking to gain skills and confidence, I think, that's a valid experience that they have. And it's one that I had personally and like to share.
I feel like the career pathway is not as clear cut as some other areas in IT. And we once were thinking, well, it's really not talked about. There's not a lot of awareness. There's not a clear pathway. There's a lot of navigating and learning and advancing in your careers by default into the cybersecurity workforce. But now the terminology cybersecurity is so mainstream. It's on the news all the time. I mean, we're constantly talking about it. The pathways are getting a little more clear, and there's definitely a lot more support out there. So women have advanced from 11% in the workforce in 2014 to now roughly 24% of women in the cybersecurity workforce, according to some reports from ISC Square and Cybersecurity Ventures. So there's progress that's being made. The needle has moved. There's still a lot more that needs to be done.
Applying for an entry-level position is something that anybody entering a new industry struggles with, but for women in particular, sometimes the listings are structured in a way that rely really heavily on prior experience. And something might specify 3 years of experience in a role that somebody is just getting into, just new to the industry. And we've seen in a number of studies, including one from Hewlett-Packard, that women are only likely to apply for a role if they meet 100% of the expectations and the requirements that are set by it. Men tend to apply if they meet around 60. And so that just sort of narrows the pipeline. If you have fewer women applying for roles, it just makes it harder for people to get through the door if they're not actually applying in the first place. And then on top of that, another study, this time from McKinsey, actually found that when it comes to hiring for a lot of these positions, they're finding that hiring managers are focusing very heavily on potential when they're hiring men. They're hiring somebody seeing what they could possibly do in the future. And for women, it tends to be more focused on their prior experience and their track record. And when you're coming from an industry that is completely separate to cybersecurity, it's hard to really have that track record and that experience to help bolster, the biases that somebody hiring you might have.
Having a diverse workplace is important no matter what field you're in. Christina Balaam told us the benefits of diversity in the workforce.
I mean, when we look at some historical data from the automotive industry, especially around safety measures and studies, to this day, women and children are still disproportionately affected by car accidents because, dating back to the first crash test dummies and a lot of the studies that were done on automotive safety, the stats they were using, the specifications they were using were actually for the average male body. And so that's still affecting us now. So when you have an industry, any industry, but especially one that's moving so quickly like cybersecurity and computer security in general, if you have diverse perspectives, you're going to get better solutions to problems.
While many know the importance of diversity, a lot of people might not know how they can help with this issue. These next women explain what you can do to get involved.
So my advice would be to be open to training on the job. And this is something that, doesn't just affect women. It's really being able to fix the pipeline problem that we have just in cybersecurity in general. A lot of these listings, as I talked about before, are looking at an entry-level position with 3 or 4 years experience. And in an area like this, that's still quite new, that, academia hasn't really caught up in terms of the curriculum that's being offered to teach a lot of the kind of fundamentals of cybersecurity. Offering on-the-job training to somebody who has other skills that you value and who is keen to actually grow and to develop as a professional here is incredibly valuable to the organization.
We highlight a lot of women in the workforce, the history of women in technology and coding and cybersecurity. We also rely heavily on our community to be able to share that knowledge as well. So our student chapters put together information, they tag us, and we make sure on social we have that presence. Our professional affiliates I'm meeting with the professional affiliates soon about launching our program. So our professional affiliates put together some programs. So you could connect with us, anyone could connect with us on social media, and we're wesis.org on Twitter, and we're on LinkedIn. And so you name it, we're out there. And it's just a great community in order to be able to learn more and honor the women that help trailblaze and pave the path before us.
all those women have such inspiring stories. Thank you to all of them for speaking with us about what it's like being a woman in the IT field. We hope you enjoyed hearing these perspectives. That's all the time we have for today. Happy National Women's Day from all of us here at ITProTV. See you next time.